What's going on, crypto cousins? It's your Bitcoin baby daddy here with another episode. If you're new here, go ahead, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, cause we make these videos. To be honest, I don't even know when we make these videos, but we make these videos every other day when I feel like it. You know how it goes by now. So today, I actually got a really good friend of mine, Constantine. I'm gonna call you Constantine because that's your name, right?
It's actually Alejandro, but hey, we all have our pseudonyms here.
Yes, it's what happened to your background? Oh my god, you were supposed to be in the cyber city. What happened to the cyber city?
I decided to go with real apartment.
But thank you, Alejandro. Actually, Constantine's his name on it is Constantine on Discord, right?
Yes.
Oh, okay, I was gonna say, like, wait a second, did I get his pseudonym wrong? But
No.
it's Constantine on Discord. He's actually in the Paladin's Discord. I'm in the Discord with him. I've been looking at this project for a while now, and it's we're not gonna get too deep into the project. I'll let him tell you more about the project and more about the token and more about what's the goal of the project and whatnot. But Constantine, thank you for joining me on the channel. How are you doing today, man?
Good, doing good. It's been a long day, a long week. As we were talking about earlier, the crypto space changes so much in even just 24 hours. But that's just the nature of the beast. Um, on Paladin's side, we are working hard, even right before Christmas. We're not taking time off. We're changing out shifts in between our employees on taking vacations and whatnot. So we're making sure that there's always a team on board.
Okay. So, before we get into the project, Alejandro, can you tell me more about your background? Tell me how you got into the crypto space.
Yeah, it's all good. Either name's fine. How I got into space, Senor Kenzie. Well, it all started back in late 2016 when I discovered or rediscovered Bitcoin and discovered something on blockchain voting. Kind of fits with what I'm doing now at Paladin. But I didn't buy my first Ethereum until early 2017, and after that, I just went down the rabbit hole. Just became obsessed. Uh, you know, Found out there was a blockchain center in Miami. Uh, Discovered NFTs, why they matter before the hype of 2021, and then of course the latest was DeFi, and yeah, man. I just became part of the culture. Became, hey, just like the name of your channel.
All right, say less. So, you're actually talking about you were into blockchain voting. So did you have any like of that in your past? Do you have any background in like voting or like political science or anything like that?
Yeah, so actually, I went to undergrad for history, and then I ended up in a kind of a dead end job. So I was like, what should I do? And for a brief stint around 2012, really popular, came Ron Paul, libertarian, rah rah. So I decided, hey, you know what? Let me see if I can go get my master's degree in political science. So I went to go get my master's in Tallahassee in applied American politics. And from there, I worked in a few government departments and also some national nonprofits. So through that experience, I learned all about basically how traditional politicking works, the good and the bad and the ugly. Um, but then, crypto opened a door, and I just said, wait a minute, I think this would be better worth my time. And, I definitely am a pro economic freedom. I may be more of a moderate now, less libertarian than I was back then, but, you know, the crypto just seemed more open and more, how should I say it, more transparent, obviously, than
Ooh.
the political space, to say the least.
Look, no comment about transparency in the political space, but but I like the fact that you that's what pulled you into the space. It's the level of transparency. I was actually talking to a friend the other day, and like, of course, they own cryptocurrency and they've got a couple of coins here and there and that and the other thing. And then I set them up with an Ethereum wallet, and I used one of my addresses. I don't care doxing. I sent them because I sent them some Ethereum from my address, and I showed them exactly what the blockchain was and how, here, look, I sent you something from my Ethereum address. Now the fact that I sent you money from this wallet, you forever will know that whatever's in this wallet is in this wallet for now and forever because you can always click back into this wallet and see it. And it blew their mind like, oh my God, how, like, I don't want my information out there like that. And this, that, and the other thing. And I'm like, well, I trust you to have my wallet address. You might as well trust me now because I have yours. And it was an eye opening situation because they've owned cryptocurrency, they've got coins, but never knew how the blockchain worked. And I'm like, how long you been buying these coins? Oh Lord. And it kind of just worries me because I'm like, oh, the froth on the top. The froth on the top is so serious. But
Exactly. It's like, ooh.
like ooh, I'm scared now. But so you have political science background, Ron Paul, libertarianism, got you into the space, and now you're working with Paladin. So how did you actually end up getting here at Paladin?
So, so Paladin. So actually, I started this position in September. I'm the head of communications at Paladin Protocol. So I'm right now, yeah, as of this recording, 3 months in. So woohoo, 3 month anniversary. And So basically, I was always looking for jobs in blockchain and crypto since, I mean, 2017. But I feel like the space hadn't matured at least until basically the pandemic last year. And so I was working basically in jobs, consulting, political consulting jobs, some tech jobs. Even working a job in artificial intelligence because that's another passion of mine. But I just decided, you know what? Let me try it again. Let me throw my resume and all my connections and everything that I had back in the summer of this year. And, I got a bunch of yeses, got a bunch of nos, and I landed this job with Paladin. A fantastic team. I didn't even think that governance in DeFi was so important until I joined and really got into it. But now we're seeing, especially even in the last few days, the explosion, part of the Cambrian explosion in governance. So I just come to appreciate DeFi so much more, how important it is, how much more complicated it can be than just simply buying and selling a token, like hodling Bitcoin or Ethereum. And yeah, it's been difficult intellectually, but at the same time, it's been very rewarding.
Okay. So, first and foremost, I want to just talk to the audience if you guys don't know. So, in DeFi, there are a lot of tokens. And, a lot of tokens are built on Ethereum. But in DeFi, there are a lot of tokens. And these tokens are usually given out through airdrops, this, that, and the other thing. But voting is built into the token. So, these are usually called governance tokens, to where if you own the token, you have decisions that you can make within the protocol. Or in other hindsight, say that you own the stock, right? If you own that stock, then you own a part of the company. Great. But you don't make choices in that company. The board does. So it's almost like, well, okay, I own the company, but I can't decide on which direction the company goes. Now, in DeFi, in cryptocurrency, you have these dApps or these applications that live on the blockchain. And so when you own the governance tokens to one of these dApps, then you are allowed to make changes to the actual protocol, the actual dApp, the thing that you own part of because you're able to make choices on it. Now, granted, one big problem in the cryptocurrency DeFi space, however you want to put it, is a lot of these governance tokens aren't used for governance at all. Because there's value attached to these tokens, people just buy, sell, trade them, and could care less about governance, could care less about deciding where the protocol goes, because at the end of the day, it's you attached a dollar value to the token. So now it's trading, and now there are different things a person would come up like, well, I could vote on this proposal, or I could sell this token because the entire market's going down. So where does Paladin fit in to fix this problem?
Yeah, the other thing I was going to mention is just like a bunch of other DeFi protocols, is people just have a token, they hodl it to yield. They yield farm.
Right.
They either have in the protocol or they yield farm. They jump back and forth. But as you mentioned, Crypto Kenzie, yeah, um, the governance is still a huge issue. In terms of how many people are involved in the space as a whole, and since let's say September, October, I haven't really looked into the numbers. The people involved in governance is probably only a few thousand. When you think about how many people are involved in crypto, that's a very small slice of the pie. So where does Paladin come in and fit into this? Well, so like I said, most DeFi protocols you can earn yield in your tokens, right? Um, but in governance, in moving forward, now this concept of DAOs, and for those who don't know what a DAO is, a decentralized autonomous organization. In decentralizing these protocols and DAOifying them, basically what's happening is that there's a lot of whales that own these tokens that were in early, that got into the token early and are able to put forth proposals via uh, tools like Snapshot or other tools, and basically are able to push forward whatever proposals and votes that they want. Now, the problem is that for the average person that's discovering about DAOs, let's say you're a newcomer like I am to Olympus, relatively speaking, they started a few years ago. I don't really have much of a say. Just like how the stockholders in traditional stock companies, just like the board of directors, make decisions because they hold the most wealth. In ideally, you owning 2 or 3 shares should have a say, but you really don't. And the same thing is happening in the DeFi space. So what Paladin's doing is we're just like any other protocol where we allow you to deposit tokens in a protocol to earn yield if you have governance tokens. So we have several pools right now: Uniswap, Compound, Aave, and Stake Aave, and we even have Index right now, another protocol out there. But what makes us unique is that you can open up a contract with us alone and borrow the voting power, not the tokens. The tokens never leave our pools, and be able to tip the scales in your favor to battle against these whales that are present on the other protocols. So it's making governance more exciting. It's making it more active. It's encouraging more people to get involved. But here's also the kicker. You may all ask, oh, can't a whale just borrow the governance, the voting power from our pools, from our protocol, and just take advantage? Well, in theory, yes. But here's the thing. The longer the contract is open, the more expensive the time it will take to borrow the voting power will be. So the more voting power you want, it increases exponentially. So there is a cost to whales trying to game the system. So that is one of our, for example, many guardrails that we're using. So our app, for example, and our lending app is now public, and people can use it as of right now. So we're working on many different dApps, but that one that is out right now basically is covering already battling the issue of plutocracy in the DeFi system.
Okay. And of course, I had the app in the background this whole time when you were discussing it, when you were looking at all the different positions that you could borrow. He was discussing all of that. Um, so then I guess my next question is, so the users deposit into the pool, the tokens never leave the pool, but they're able to borrow the voting rights of the pool. Now, does that individual specifically goes to vote, or do they delegate their vote to someone on the Paladin team who is like-minded of their interest?
Right. Okay, so one thing I want to make clear is that whenever you open a contract to borrow voting power, it has to be done before a snapshot on a protocol is ended. So it can't be done when voting is already occurring. It has to be done before a snapshot, like on Compound Aave. That's number one. Number two, the voting for Paladin would be given for Paladin proposals will be given to delegates. So we
Okay.
have delegates for Paladin, right? But in terms of Aave and Compound and whatnot, no, that would be something completely separate from what Paladin is doing. We could potentially introduce something like that into the future. Seems a little complicated. I mean, but it probably could be done. But
This is DeFi. Come on, let's add another Lego piece to it. Let's go.
exactly, yeah. Let's put another DeFi money Lego. There we go. Let's
Let's go
go.
get another money Lego on there. F it. Let's go.
But as it stands right now, the delegates we have 4 delegates, and we can add more delegates. By the way, if people are interested in putting their nominations in our discourse forum. You're free to do so. But the delegates that we have in our protocol are simply for Paladin proposals and governance frameworks moving forward.
Okay. So I guess my next question is, what does the roadmap look like for Paladin as of right now?
Man, so yeah, I know we spoke about it a few days ago, and I know that everyone is looking for the alpha, and
Yeah, what's
I
up? Give me that alpha leak. Let's go.
I brought I keep
Mm.
promising a team, and I've been a good boy so far. No leak. So I will say this. I will say this. So I will say that between now till December, what day is it today? The 14th.
Yeah.
Yes. And Q2, so April of 2022, we have a steady stream, as I mentioned before, of DApps rolling out,
Okay.
announcements. I'm gonna keep on publishing our newsletter that we do bi-weekly, our community calls. Um, we just today are testing out a new DApp that should have a full release by January, but that's all I'm going to say. I can't say anything more. That's all I can say. But there's again stuff to look forward to. Um, it's at the tip of my tongue, man. But
Can
I ain't gonna leak.
can you tell me what the color of the token is? I just want to know. Is it blue coin? Is it yellow coin? That's all you gotta say, and then I'll be
So,
like, I'll find it. Don't worry, I'll find it. But
so
no, no.
we do have okay. So we've been actually we do have our PAL Uni Stake Agave tokens on Etherscan.
Mhm.
The token itself is gonna be orange, so I think that's safe to say. So we already have that logo. It's actually that's already public info. We're actually still waiting on Etherscan to upload the correct images. So we're still like looking at our watches and like, okay, it's a time, it's a time. So um, but so that information is out there. And the token, of course, will be PAL, PAL. Um, and yeah, there is other information you can find in their discourse that's out there, and but that's about the only information I can release. What I can say though is I could talk a little bit about what our ultimate goal is as a protocol.
Yes, by all means. That's what I would like to know. The audience would like to know.
Okay. The so when I'm talking about Q1 or Q2 of next year, we're talking about years down the line. This is
Mhm.
also why we, for example, on our discourse have a vote. We put up to a vote for our team allocation. We're going to put on a snapshot soon. So again, we're being very transparent and asking people how much will you allow the team to have in the token, and of course our investors and other persons. Um, so what our long-term goal for Paladin is that we want to become the one-stop shop for governance, voting in DeFi. Um, According to news that's come out this week, articles that I've been reading, even an article that I shared with you earlier, Crypto Kenzie, uh, decentralized governance, I really believe, is truly an understated industry. And I believe that in the private sector, I'm talking about financial first with banks, but also potentially in the public sector with like Wyoming DAO and other DAOs that are out there, it, there is a potential huge disruption to the powers that be. And by that I mean to current nation states, and that I mean big tech, and maybe a lot of the world is not even ready for it yet. Maybe it will seep in slowly, or maybe it will come quick. But we as Paladin are positioning ourselves to really be saying, "Hey guys, the world's changing quick. Um, Cryptocurrencies have erased borders, right? And
For now.
for now, for
For
now,
now, until they get their grimy hands on it.
exactly.
We'll just leave it at they.
They, no. Not they. But so yeah, the governance. So basically, yeah, we're just focused on. It's hard to know what's going to happen in just a few years, man. But we want to. We're constantly integrate different protocols. We want to be that meta governance platform that people come to and say, "Hey, these guys are transparent. We can trust them. We've seen their code. It's been audited. Um, and we want to we have really idealistic goals. But we're looking to be that foundation for DeFi governance.
Okay. Now, just is there a DAO planned for Paladin?
Yeah. So currently, so we're in still in the DAOification process. It's
Okay.
happening slowly. But we look to ramp up those efforts come next year. Now we are building, but also it's the nature of the ecosystem, the beast, if you will, because there are so many protocols out there that, for example, done an excellent job in DAOification. I'll do a shout out to Index Coop. Actually, the whole entire team are fans of Index Coop.
That's good.
Um,
I like Index Scoop too. Now, granted, I did hold on to the DeFi Pulse Index for a while because it had great farming opportunities in the early stages. Great farming opportunities in the early stages. But this is not about Index Coop. This is about Paladin.
yes,
Yes.
no,
So,
no. I'm actually no really glad about that segue because I am a fan, and actually I wasn't as versed in the DPIs you just mentioned. So thank you for sharing that. Um, but I will say that in the Paladin side, the DAOification process is currently the most decentralized on our discourse, on our forum.
okay.
Um, Again, we always look for different platforms and other opportunities that will present themselves to allow for more decentralization. But I'm just going to be a straight shooter. Uh, a lot of the community still hangs out on Twitter and still
Mm-hmm.
hangs out on Discord and also, of course, Discourse for the forums. But Twitter the most, Discord probably second, and Discourse third. And there are other platforms out there. Discord and Twitter are both very centralized platforms. Like, for example, today in our Discord we introduced a new role for our delegates. Right,
Mm-hmm.
so delegates can have their own channel and have some level of their own autonomy. But again, it's just the nature of everything. So we are day in and day out thinking, okay, how can we DAOify Paladin more? And also looking to other protocols. I hate to say copy paste, but looking to other protocols for inspo. But we're also thinking
Copy
like, okay, what
pasta.
copy pasta? Yeah, but also we're thinking like from our knowledge as we have a UX, we have Solidity devs. So I myself a political background, saying how can we from different backgrounds like all these core teams have, how can we come up with these certain ideas to decentralize ourselves? And we've come up with some pretty cool stuff that we put on the back burner, stuff I obviously unfortunately can't talk about here. um but I will say one thing. We have a level up system called contributor framework. So we have 5 levels. There are Squire, Wanderer, Warrior, Knight, and Paladin. And basically, what we're doing in that regard is we're trying to insert fantasy lore into Paladin, right, on our Discord, but also we're making it as a way to recognize our most loyal or our most stalwart contributors to the Discord. And we give those users certain permissions, certain powers, right? But also, it, we plan on in the future recognizing those users, if not through more roles, but maybe through incentives. For example, we also have a program right now called Night of the Week, where wherever one person contributes the most to, let's say, our community in the past week, gets 100 PAL tokens, you get an NFT. So we really want to have our circulating supply of tokens really be a part of the community. That's our main goal first and foremost. um, and so yeah, man. I mean, going back to the contributor framework system, we're working on the Knight and Paladin ranks right now, and we want that to be integrated somehow with Discord. So whenever someone in our Discord ranks up to the level of a Knight or a Paladin, we want to at that point have something possibly along the lines of coordinate, or maybe
Okay.
something else would be presented by then. So we have a vague idea what it is, but right now we're just brainstorming and also letting time work its thing because it may be too early to see what path there will be.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so then I guess my next question is, where can people get more information? Where can people get involved? How do people get involved? What do you guys
Yeah.
need from a community standpoint?
Right. Okay. So, well, first thing I'll mention is our website. It's paladin.vote. That's PALADIN.vote. On Twitter, you can find us at twitter.com/paladin underscore vote. And our Discord link is in our bio. So how you can get involved, the best way and where you post information first is Discord. Discord always gets the early opportunity, so it's only maybe about 2 minutes or so compared to, let's say, Twitter. But hey, it's still 2 minutes ahead on everyone else. So, and how you can contribute, we're very open. We don't necessarily ask you to say, "Hey, we want you to translate this doc or do any of this administrative work." That is, for example, one of the tasks you can do to level up. But we say, "Hey, impress us with memes." Hey, we want to talk about governance, or what background do you have? Share a bit about yourself. Like, create organic, enlightening discussion in our general chat or our other channels, and we'll recognize that. We'll say, hey, so and so really, is smart here. We should really continue this conversation. And maybe consider rewarding him or her, right? So uh, now in terms of community about who we look for, right now, we are, of course, targeting our main target is people that are currently voting in DeFi. So, again, that very small but active community. Second from that would be users of DeFi in general. So, people that may just want to buy and sell a token to earn yield. And last but not least, in the future, I would say the overall crypto community as a whole, and maybe even no coiners. But that's something that I don't think will happen until DeFi governance takes off and until, let's say, DAOs become more mainstream,
So
which could be next year.
so ooh, you're bullish. Nova Gratz is bullish. Alejandro, thank you so much for coming on to the channel. Is there anything last thing you want to tell everybody before I let you go?
Mackenzie, again, it was a pleasure. I'll mention this from last year. I remember because I had mentioned earlier before that I was with the blockchain center in Miami before, unfortunately, the physical location had to shut down due to coronavirus.
Right.
But I remember you were on one of our shows, so I'm like, yeah. And we had originally, met each other through there, so it's great to be coming back this side from the DeFi side, and of course, you're still doing your show, which is fantastic. The thing I want to mention to people is be curious. Make sure that you essentially are open to learning about different things. Um, and not financial advice, but don't invest what you can lose. If you want to get into the space financially, then dive into it a little bit, bit by bit, but also make sure that you're learning and you're nurturing and fostering yourself intellectually as well. You're not just doing it for the money.
And with that, guys, thank you guys so much. Check me out next time. Take it easy. Peace. Yeah.